Hi. Okay, so this video is going to teach you how to begin sewing. Hopefully you can see everything I do clearly on the camera. But you're going to only begin sewing when you have added all of your details in felt. And the next step will be to get thread. So you're going to go behind me over there. Next to the glue is little things of thread. You're gonna pick your color, okay? And then you're going to go to your seat and you're gonna stretch this out to be 2 arms length. So that means I'm pinching on one end and I'm going all the way like this, stretching my arms out, and this is where I cut my thread, okay? Next step is to get your needle, and you're going to put the thread through the eye of the needle. So the eye of the needle is this hole right here, and your thread is going to go through there, and then you're going to grab that little end and you're going to pull to make the 2 ends of your string even. Okay, so I have my needle here and my 2 ends of my string. These I'm going to tie in a knot. So I'm going to make a loop, and then I'm going to go through the loop with the string and pull. And that's at the end, and your needle is on the other end. Okay. Once you've gotten that far, you have now officially threaded the needle and you are ready to start to sew. So when you begin sewing, you want to you have your 2 pieces together, you want to open up your felt pieces, and you want to stick the needle through the back one on the inside like this and pull. And you pull until the knot is up against the inside. All right, and then you push them together and that hides the knot, so you won't be able to see that. All right, then you have your thread coming out the back of your little plushie, and you're going to whip this around and you're going to sew from the front every single time. So you're going to bring your thread around and your needle, and you're going to go through the front every time. Hard doing this on camera. It's a weird angle, but through the front of your little plushie every single time. When you do this, you want to make sure you're getting through both layers of felt. So you're sewing these 2 pieces together. And notice how I have spaced my stitches. They're pretty close, but they're not like super close. I mean, they're pretty close. And then they're also kind of in a little bit. They're not right at the edge. So if you stick your needle too close to the edge, it's not going to catch both of your pieces. So you want to always kind of have your needle in a little bit, okay? I got to turn this around so I can explain one more thing. When you're sewing, you have to imagine that this is like a little parade. The stitches come first, then your thread, and then your needle. So the thread has to stay on this side with the stitches. It can't be on this side of your needle. If that makes any sense, I hope it does. The thread on this side of your needle might cause a knot or a stitch that looks more like an X. So you want to try to keep your thread on this side before you pull through, okay? So every time you make a stitch, you pull to make it nice and snug around the edge. You don't want to leave any loops. And then you're just going to continue this way, sewing along the outside of your little felt plushie. 2 things to know. You're going to end up leaving a gap. So I'm going to sew all the way around, and then I'm going to stop probably about here. And then I have this little hole where I'm going to use that hole to stuff all the stuffing into my little plushie to make it fluffy. Also, something to note, as you're sewing, this thread is going to get shorter. So this thread is not going to make it all the way around. When you sew, you don't want to sew so that you have only this much string left, because you're going to have to cut your needle off and get new thread. And if you cut your needle off without tying a knot, all of your stitches will come undone. So when you are sewing, you want to try to stop sewing when you have about this much. I say use like your hand. You want to have like about this much from the bottom of your thumb to the tip of your finger. That's a good length of string to have left, okay? So around here. And if you need to, it might be helpful to make a little black dot with a Sharpie right there to give yourself a mental reminder, like, okay, when I get to that black dot, I have to stop, and this is when you tie a knot and cut your needle off. Don't cut your needle off if you don't tie a knot. That would be very bad, because then all this beautiful stitching that you did is gonna come out, okay? Do the best you can. Make sure that you are focused and concentrating and working hard, and little mistakes you can just kind of sew through, and it's okay. If anything becomes a big, huge knot of a mess, you'll have to go and see an adult to help you. But try to do some problem solving on your own and see if you can figure it out. A lot of this is really just practice. So if your stitch messes up for once, you know, one stitch, it's fine. Also, if it's really hard to push through, you can use the desk and push down on the desk, and it'll help you to pierce through these layers of felt. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you have fun today and are successful. And don't forget, at the end of art, this all is gonna go in your folder, and you're also going to put this in your folder, and you always wanna put things like this in the pocket so they don't get lost. All right, have a good day.